17-year-old Austin Metcalf's twin brother was at the track with him. His family says he died in his brother's arms.
He was going to turn out to be a great individual and impact this world with positivity.
Around 10 a.m., Frisco police say 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony stabbed Metcalf in the chest after some sort of fight. Jeff Metcalf says it was Austin's twin brother, Hunter Metcalf, who tried to save him.
And then I saw him about to fall. I went to go over there. I grabbed him. I see. Let's go.
Yeah, I understand. Best I can to understand.
Yeah, there was. You can see. You can picture what happened when what was coming out of his chest, and
yeah.
Y'all can visualize that stuff. I don't want to put down my mom right now, but.
We Need a Reset TV. What is going on with y'all? I am your host, Gravitating Away. I've missed y'all for the last couple days. Went out with my son to do some college tours, and I emphasize, went out with my son to do some college tours, and he's 17 himself. Interesting when we mentioned that, right? As you all seen in the beginning of the video, I dropped a story that is now going viral, and we'll get back to that. It's going viral for unfortunate reasons. And listen, man, this is probably one of the hardest videos that I had to do. I just want a little, clarity on this subject. To preface it, I just want to point out that I'm an identical twin. Shout out to my twin brother. I smoke hip hop. And from a biased approach, I would be definitely upset, man. Somebody took my brother out like that and he laid on my arms. But I'm gonna circle back to all of this, but I want to get into how this, no surprisingly, has gone political and even racial. And the irony of it all, right, is that people were saying that had it been the other way around, this would make much more noise than it initially had, right? But now it is making noise. And if you guys are unfamiliar with this story, a track and field event Wednesday morning, last Wednesday that is, among Frisco high schools took a deadly and tragic turn among students who were attending. Frisco police said an altercation between two 17-year-old male students led to a stabbing, which left one dead and the other facing a murder charge. And I just want to play this news clip and we'll be back with the commentary.
17-year-old Austin Metcalf's twin brother was at the track with him. His family says he died in his brother's arms. Fox Sports' Amelia Jones spoke with the victim's father and is live in Frisco tonight. Amelia.
Steve, Heather, 17-year-old Austin Metcalf had a bright future ahead of him. He was a leader on the football field and a scholar in the classroom. His dad told me he's holding on to memories and leaning deep on his faith as he tries to wrap his mind around this senseless tragedy.
He was going to turn out to be a great individual and impact this world with positivity.
17-year-old Austin Metcalf was voted MVP of the Frisco Memorial High School varsity football team. The linebacker held a near-perfect GPA and was in the National Honor Society.
He was on the right track. He was doing everything right. I was so proud.
Jeff Metcalf never imagined that his son's future would be cut short.
I'm still in shock.
Wednesday morning, Austin Metcalf was at a District 11 5A track meet at Kirkendall Stadium. Around 10 a.m., Frisco police say 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony stabbed Metcalf in the chest after some sort of fight. Jeff Metcalf says it was Austin's twin brother, Hunter Metcalf, who tried to save him.
And his brother was holding him, trying to hold the blood in, and he passed. My son watched his brother die in his arms.
It's unclear how Anthony got the knife into the meat or what exactly led up to the fight. Anthony is now facing first-degree murder charges, and Jeff Metcalf
It was the best weekend ever.
Is only left with memories.
I was able to watch and be blessed so much. They're having such both my sons are amazing.
When Jeff Metcalf was diagnosed with cancer 9 years ago, his boys were his strength. Now cancer-free, it's his faith that's keeping him strong.
when I kissed his forehead today, as his body was cold, I ran my fingers through his hair. I told him, it's not goodbye. It's see you later. I'll join you at some point too, son. You just beat me to this place.
Wednesday night, the family's church opened its doors for the community to gather for a prayer vigil to honor a young man whose life touched so many.
But I know he's with the Lord. And I take comfort and peace in that.
In the news clip, you have suspect Karmelo Anthony, who's a minor, but his name is being mentioned because obviously he's being charged as an adult and charged for first-degree murder. The victim is Austin Metcalf. Sorry if I said that wrong, but he's an identical twin, and you know, he allegedly died in the arms of his brother. And Tariq Nasheed, Jesus, Tariq Grifter, I get money Nasheed had to lay down an unfavorable post on X. And Tariq, unlike anybody intelligent, realizing this is a very sensitive story and should probably do their research, he drops a post that says, a suspected white supremacist named Austin Metcalf, pictured with his twin, allegedly demanded honor student Karmelo Anthony to give up his seat. By the way, Austin also was an honor student, but it continues. Like it was the Jim Crow era, Karmelo defended himself from the alleged threat. The Daniel Penny case set this precedent. And if y'all can remember a little while back, the Daniel Penny case basically involved Daniel Penny himself, who was an ongoer in a New York train, a subway. I don't really know how that goes, but he was in I guess the subway train, whatever. And unfortunately, the victim in that case was going through a psychotic episode. He had a history of it, and Daniel, quote unquote, tried to restrain him by putting him in a chokehold. And that victim in New York died as a result of Daniel Penny, who basically was not presumed, but the hand at the victim's death. And he basically won his case, right? All charges against him were dropped, or, you know, you could view it as he won his case because he was found not guilty. The point being that Tariq Nasheed is pointing that case out. And I would just pause, right? If I'm any YouTuber that's running to make this racial, to make this political, because there are other aspects that you can touch on this and make a quality video without being an asshole. And I'm just like watching several people on both sides of the aisle with white and blacks, however you see it. You know, there's people already pointing out that Karmelo's a thug. Other people are trying to point out that Austin was a white supremacist, courtesy of Tariq Nasheed, who basically volunteered this information and none of it was going around. I wanted to touch on other angles. One of them is the factor that for the people trying to make this into racist situations or anything political, well, the father had something to say, and I want to play him real quick.
I want to clarify something right off the start, because I've already heard some rumors and gossip. This was not a race thing, and this is not a political thing. Please do not comment if you do not know what happened. Do not turn this into a racial thing. It was not. Do not politicize this. It's not. This is a human being thing. This person made a bad choice, and it affected both his family and my family forever.
So yeah, that was Dad. And Dad is a stronger man than me. I don't think I could have been that composed and praised my God and Savior, you know, and I shout out to him. You know, as much as I believe in a God, I just can't tell y'all how I would feel in a predicament like that. As I said many times before, my father lost his younger brother 2 shots to the head, man, had to identify him. And my father just never been the same. Always angry about things. He's just never really recovered. But this father over here who lost a son who has an identical twin brother. I mean, yo, I don't know that type of pain, and I don't think I could bear it. Personally, I'm not gonna even say I would forgive my, quote unquote son's murderer. I can't do it. But I want to segue into this. When Karmelo was approached by officers, one officer described the teen as the alleged suspect, to which Karmelo replied, "I'm not alleged, I did it," according to an arrest report seen by the NBC affiliate, right? Anthony and Metcalf were fighting before the stabbing happened at the stadium, that is. So there's a lot to get into it. The father went into the fact that the twin brother knew what happened, and that's why he doesn't want to make this about race or politics. So I got to go with what the father's leaning on. The father's basically painting a picture that it's not what you fools are posting out there. Both sides of the hour, the people that are trying to champion Austin's cause as the victim, and the folks trying to champion Karmelo's cause as the suspect. I don't know what happened, just like many of you don't know what happened. From this point on, everything will be alleged, because leave it to Anthony's father. He says that basically, the elder Anthony, he claimed that his son was acting in self-defense after allegedly using a black knife to stab Metcalf. He says, the son, that is, "I was protecting myself," as he told the officer that he put his hands on me. And again, the father reiterated his son wasn't the aggressor. His son was not the one who started it. And this is what my opinion and take is to conclude all of this. And before I do that, I think it's important I let the mother and the son speak out. The surviving son, that is, the twin brother of Austin.
I saw him about to fall. I would go over there. I grab him. I see him. Let's go.
Yeah, I understand. Best I can to
Yeah,
understand.
there was. You can see. You can picture what happened when what was coming out of his chest, and
Yeah.
y'all can visualize that stuff. I don't want to put that on my mom right now, but I pushed my hand on there to try to make it stop, and I grabbed his head and I looked in his eyes. I just saw his soul leave, and it took my soul too.
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna ask you one last question. I've seen interviews with your husband, who I can hear in the side, by the way. I think he's there in the room with you. I saw an interview last night. Okay, someone else. Yes, okay.
Yes, sir.
But I have seen interviews with your husband in the last 24 hours, and it was remarkable to me that I heard your husband say, within hours of this, that he forgave this other young man, and he got there so quickly. And I honestly don't know that I could, and I just want to see, and I don't know if there's a right or a wrong place to be, especially as quickly as this has happened. Megan, how do you feel on that front today?
I am not like their dad. I am so angry at that boy. It's just not fair. That's all I have.
I understand.
I'd like to say
It's not fair.
it's forgave, not forgotten, but I'm not at that point yet to forgive that kid for what he did to my brother.
So basically, mom and twin brother does not share their father's and husband's sentiment. Mom said straight up, we're not like him, being that of the father. Like, she's basically saying we're not forgiving. She says it's unfair, and I understand that. I'm a human being. Going back to what Austin's father said, this is not a white, black, political race thing. This is a human being thing where one young man made a mistake. Now, this is how I see it, and for better or worse, these are my thoughts. I'm not gonna call my channel Need a Reset TV just to pussyfoot around things. This is how I see it without segueing into race. You got the Tariq Nasheeds of the world trying to push the envelope with his takes. He's a grifter. He's somebody that's always gonna play in your face as black folks. Those of you that always thinks you need a leader, Tariq's gonna play in your face, and shout out to him if he's to get a couple of you suckers, and that's what it is. In all these years, if you still think you need a black leader, you're a sucker. That's what I got to tell you. You know, if you're going to defend Tariq Nasheed and you don't even know this man, you're a sucker. My opinions are my opinions, and I think Tariq is a clown to put an insensitive post like that without knowing what happened. Now, what I won't say is Karmelo was just this thug looking to get a body. I'm not going to rush and do that. As I said, we should wait maturely and have discipline to understand. Let's let everything come out, right? It's going to be he said versus she said. And in the end, only the folks that were there knows exactly what happens. So there's going to be two sides to this story and the truth itself. So yeah, Karmelo, who knows? Maybe he did feel like he was outnumbered, regardless if he started the situation in terms of not just leaving, or if you guys think it was right or wrong for him to stay or leave. The point is, he initiated it by not leaving. And this is what I'm trying to say. Black folks have a big problem when it comes to conflict resolution. We have a toxic ego complex where everything is deemed as, I gotta stand on business. You know how a lot of y'all like to say that. I got to stand on business. And the thing that you're standing on business 90% of the time is some fugazi BS, right? Something that you could just shrug your shoulders to. But you don't want to stand on business when it comes to real issues. Y'all don't want to stand on business when it comes to bettering our community. Nah. You want to stand on business for trivial matters. Yes, I can say the optics might show it's raining, because that's part of the context a lot of people don't have. It started to rain out there, and this dude, for whatever reason, maybe because of the rain, he decided to, go inside of the tent of another team. Now, he could have felt slighted, right? They probably said, get your dumb ass out of here. And I'm just using an extreme hypothetical. Let's just say Austin, his brother, and their friend said, hey, nigga, get your fuck ass out of here, right? Let's just say they use the N-word. Again, all of this is hypothetical. Let's just say they use that. Even when you ninjas are outnumbered, you feel like you gotta stand on business. You feel like if you walked away, which is no shame, somehow that's something very disappointing to do. You feel like you've been emasculated to a certain degree, because in our community, we teach our young black men to fight almost over anything. We teach them about the wrong morals of what a man is, and that's the biggest problems. Some of you might say there's not enough black fathers. I say bullshit. I see enough black fathers, and I see enough representation of a black male, right, life coach, black male guider in a young black male's life. I see enough of them. The problem is, a lot of you elders are teaching these young men wrong. A lot of you mothers who are single mothers, and I don't want to get into the details of why you're single mothers, you're raising your sons a certain way. And the problem that they see is everything detrimental. Toxic behavior. We don't teach them conflict resolution. Not enough of us are teaching our children it's okay to walk away, bro. Let's de-escalate a situation. Let them have that. It would have been nothing for Karmelo to walk away. And if you're telling me he's this honor roll student the way that now they're picturing, then I say why he couldn't have walked away. They're not going to tell you that Karmelo was just suspended from his school shortly before this incident for carrying a knife. What a surprise. So for whatever reason, Karmelo been carrying around a knife. He could have had ops. I don't know. I don't know what athlete has ops, and he's an honor roll student. I don't know how many honor roll students have ops and feel the need to carry around knives. But I do know one thing. Regardless of all the nuance that's surrounding this story, regardless of the people that are probably gonna kill me for my take, I have to speak a real perspective. The young man that died, yes, he was a, top athlete, top recruit, D1 level talent. Leave it to his father. His son was a member of an honor club. So it's a wasted life. That's a wasted life. It doesn't mean that even though he was all these things, that he also was a kid that probably said something crazy to Karmelo. We don't know. He probably said some reckless things, especially the part that I would love to find out, that he put his hands on Karmelo first. My thing is, if Karmelo wasn't carrying around that knife, we would have had 2 lives that had a chance to still be out here with full potential. Not just full potential, but manifest that potential. Now, instead, we have a situation, regardless of the type of race angles you guys want to bring into this and the politics. And no, I don't think I'm being contradictive when I say that I want to talk about it from a black male perspective, is because I'm a black father with a black son. And I've seen many of these episodes, regardless if Karmelo was talking to another black group of guys or a white group of guys. We do not teach our young men conflict resolution solutions. I'm seeing people hijack this story, a story that has so many lessons to be taught, and instead is the typical, well, look what these black animals are doing out here. And then on the other side, you know, ergo Tariq, look at the white supremacists that started this. So you got a lot of toxic angles that people are pushing out here, when for me personally on both sides, maybe Austin and his group of friends and brother could have handled that situation with a better approach. And on the other hand, Karmelo obviously has no conflict resolution skills, none whatsoever. To pull out a knife, I just hope this, because clearly he's going to use a self-defense claim. And for you people that are rooting for that, Karmelo better have a great story of why he felt the need a knife was important. That's all I'm saying. This was Gravitating Away on We Need a Reset TV. And y'all let me know how y'all feel real quick, man. If you're new to my channel, Spike Lee that joint. Do the right thing. Like, share, comment, subscribe. But also, guys, kindly leave your opinions. I really want to know y'all opinions on this. I'm sure it'll be interesting. I'm sure we'll have different takes and views, because yeah, it is a sensitive subject, but I really want to know, and I'm gonna meet y'all there. I'ma holla.